most brokers have a history of once you get a buyer, the buyer starts working on a purchase contract, and then a lot of brokers move on to the next thing and just wait for the deal to progress to the point where it closes and they make their commission. If you go to a closing and there's an argument between the buyer and seller, and usually the argument's about money, and sometimes there's a gap. And what do they do to fill a gap at closing?
They
They
look
look
to the
to the
broker.
broker.
Yeah.
So I learned a long time ago, it started off with me doing, this is when I was largely by myself even. I wouldn't just hand it over to a title agent and say, here you go. I would stay very involved, gather the information, and do the closing statement and make sure that before closing, buyer and seller are in agreement, because it's amazing. You negotiate properties in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, but boy, at closing, you argue over tens and hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
So I learned that early on. So I made sure in advance of closing, because again, when you're sitting down there, they look to you, say, you solve our problem out of your pocket. So I learned to not let that happen. And that just evolved into the way to make money is to ensure the greatest likelihood of closing a deal. How do you do that? Number one, you get a listing. So you control the real estate. And then number two, you control the process. You control who the buyer is. And then you control the due diligence and the closing. These are all things learned over a long career that I am able to more rapidly relay to our team because I've experienced it. So we do a whole bunch more due diligence before we get a listing and before we put it on the market to make sure we find problems before they become deal killer problems. So these are all services we provide to the seller, whether they appreciate it or not. The ones who have sold properties and know where problems come up. The ones that are less experienced, they don't get it until it happens to them.
Until they find it.
Right.
Somebody finds it. I need a TC.
I don't know how any of our competitors can compete with us without one because sellers love it.